would do so. First of all, the content would be amazing with him
obviously.
with that as Mr. Money in the Bank, but he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
He can just do what he wants to do.
And I feel like Money in the Bank should be a heel because it's such a heelish thing to sneak up and kind of cash in on an opportune moment. So for AJ Styles as a face now, it's just a very heel, slimy type of thing to do, and Corbin's perfect for this.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
Baron Corbin. Everyone's getting introduced. Shinsuke Nakamura comes out, huge pop. And before I can even get my phone out to do a Snapchat of his entrance, he's getting attacked by Baron Corbin. He gets hit with a camera.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Yeah, and then so he heads to the back, and then that really killed the crowd, in my opinion. The crowd was kind of out of it until a few big spots started happening. A sunset flip by Sami Zayn really got the crowd into it. He did the sunset flip powerbomb off the ladder to Ziggler. Awesome. Ziggler took a nasty bump. All these guys did great. I'm not the biggest fan of Money in the Bank. Some of them were awesome, especially the first couple ones, but, there's just so many cooks in the kitchen. You can't really focus on one moment. So the moments that really stood out, we'll get back to it. Shinsuke, he obviously comes back, and the moment between him and AJ, that's a moment like the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan meeting in the Royal Rumble. You just can essentially print money on this rivalry, and hopefully, they don't go into it soon, but I wouldn't mind seeing this at SummerSlam for the title.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know who's going to win a title. I mean, if Kevin Owens were to drop the U.S. title to AJ Styles, I don't know if they're going to continue with that storyline now.
Yeah.
They might not. We'll see what happens on SmackDown. But if they do and Kevin Owens loses the belt to Styles, then that would be a nice little segue to it. But
it doesn't even need a title.
It doesn't really need to, yeah. I would be, like I said, I'm curious to see what they do with Owens and who's going to go up against him. Is Zayn going to go back against him? I feel like they always do great work.
Yeah, but it's just like who else can you have Owens against? You can have him against Shinsuke.
Yeah, Shinsuke would work well with him.
That would be great.
Pretty much Owens works well with anybody, honestly.
Owens is one of the best performers in the business right now. So main event happens. Baron Corbin wins, and I think, like we said, it's something new, it's something different, and I expect him to hold on to it for a while.
I thought it was a great heel win for him, too. Crowd is really into AJ Styles and Nakamura going at it, and then here comes Baron Corbin to ruin everybody's fun.
Yeah, and, nobody took too many crazy bumps. Nope. Styles got slammed onto the ladder, and the one that really had me going was Sami Zayn did the suplex to Owens on
he broke the ladder.
No, onto the side of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad. And the crowd was super getting into it, and the energy was back, and then the whole Shinsuke coming back, the crowd was going nuts. And now we have the standoff between him and AJ. It was a great moment, and I think, this is a transition pay-per-view. It's not, we're obviously leading up to other things. You have SummerSlam coming up, so we're going to have a lot of time to build up for that, and I think SmackDown's going to do a great job.
Yeah. Which, by the way, so as you mentioned transition, I think that's exactly what we've kind of been heading towards. Wrestling Observer reported that a lot of this big stuff is going to start to happen kind of nowish. They're trying to build, I know you've been more vocal about this than I have, but WWE creative's kind of been coasting a little bit in recent months and recent weeks. The past few pay-per-views have been lackluster.
Yeah.
But apparently, according to Wrestling Observer, they're claiming that the WWE wants SummerSlam to be huge, so they've kind of been saving all the best storylines for right now. So coming out of Money in the Bank, coming out of Great Balls of Fire, which is only 3 weeks away. Yeah. Guess what? We don't have a show next week where we're previewing or reviewing.
We'll go over Benoit.
So we'll do Benoit. But overall, hopefully this happens. So what for you will be the big stuff that they're talking about here? I know I could think what yours would be off the top of my head.
First of all, I just want to say how spoiled we were as kids, because every pay-per-view had, this big fight feel to it, because you would have, The Rock going up against The Undertaker, Triple. No, there were still 12 pay-per-views a month.
Now there's 18.
Yeah, is there?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But regardless, everything seemed like it was, you had to purchase this pay-per-view. Now you could be like, I don't really need to see this one. I could kind of just read about what happens. My dream for SummerSlam,
I know what it is.
I mean,
I know what your dream is. I can tell you what your dream is.
What's my dream?
Ready? So the text messages Kurt Angle's been receiving.
Oh, that's not going to happen
Stephanie,
at SummerSlam.
Triple H versus Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I think
That's your dream.
That's my dream. Unfortunately, I think they're going to hold off on Kurt Angle in the ring just because they have plenty of time to build this up. I think WrestleMania is where we get that. I mean, there's so many opportunities for matches, especially with Cena coming back. I want to see all different matches. And I want to see Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena. The crowd would be insane for that. You have no idea. You could also do Cena can have a ton of matchups. You can have Cena versus Roman Reigns, which has not happened.
Leads
either.
me into my next point. I want you to continue going, but
yeah, go ahead.
My next point is that they've also been teasing all week. Roman Reigns making a SummerSlam announcement tonight on
This
Raw.
is ridiculous. Wait, how can you just announce because the rumor is he's going to fight the winner of this Lesnar Joe match.
You just make that match
Yeah,
yourself?
he could just be like, yeah, I announce I'm going to do this. How can you just what's his announcement going to be?
See, my theory is that they're going to do Reigns versus Cena.
I would
Because
love that, man.
Reigns is going to make the announcement that he wants John Cena, that he took out The Undertaker. Undertaker's gone.
Yeah.
The next guy on that mountain, John Cena. That's who I want. John Cena returns on SmackDown, not this week, but next week, to kind of talk about that.
I like where you're going.
That makes sense to me. And it kind of continues the Roman Reigns heel angle that they've kind of been, they've been on the line. He's been a tweener, I would say, since WrestleMania.
He's been a tweener forever, I feel like. This is,
he was a babyface before the whole Undertaker.
Before the Royal Rumble thing. I think, when he won that Royal Rumble a few years ago, he kind of, started veering towards getting booed. To me, this is money right here. Cena versus Reigns. There's no way that this is not the main event if it does happen. Yeah. And also, John Cena's going to get cheered.
Yeah.
Which is insane. He's going to, because it's in Brooklyn, and they are going to boo the you-know-what out of Roman Reigns, and Cena's going to get a monster pop.
See, the thing that's interesting is that, Cena, the rumor is now, is, him coming back as this free agent, he's going to have a little bit more creative control over the character than he's had.
He deserves it.
And he wants to work with younger talent, which is good. He wants to kind of further the business that really made him
a
filthy
megastar.
Rich. Yeah, he's literally he's going to be the next Rock, essentially.
Yeah, he's in a ton of movies. Yeah. I just saw a preview for, he's playing like a bull in an animated Disney movie. Yeah. Or an animated movie, and it's just like, this guy's blowing up, man. Yeah. And good for him, because nobody puts in more work than John Cena.
He put in a lot of work, and he carried the company on his own back.
Yeah. Through the whole Benoit tragedy, all that stuff. He's the face, and there's so many matchups. We've seen Cena versus Orton so many times. Let's get some new matchups. Let's get Owens going up against other people than Sami Zayn. There's plenty of opportunities out there, and hopefully SummerSlam culminates into a great show, because the last couple of SummerSlams have been pretty lackluster from what I remember.
Well, it looks like it's shaping up now where if you get Lesnar going in as the champion, depending on who he's fighting, it could be a lot of fun. If Joe wins at Great Balls of Fire, first of all, that would be, I think pretty much everyone would be shocked.
It would be a bigger shock than Goldberg winning.
Yeah.
Which you predicted. That was insane.
I predicted that victory, but I still think I was even still shocked that he squashed Lesnar
I
like that.
Screamed. Yeah. Like, my mom ran upstairs, what's going on?
I was at my friend, you met Gary on the show before. Yes. I was at his house, and he hates Goldberg. He pretty much hates everything WCW. Big Lesnar guy. And when that happened, I was crying. I was so happy.
And it was awesome. It was a great moment.
He was so mad.
That's one of those moments that you'll remember for a lifetime, when the unbeatable beast went down to the 50-year-old Bill Goldberg, a WCW superstar, beating the guy who beat the Undertaker.
Put over a WCW guy?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
If only they did that 15 years ago, but that's for another topic. I would like to go over, because we talk about, present day stuff. I would like to go over some older topics in a few weeks. Maybe we can go over.
Well, we'll definitely have next week, because we're not going to have much going on next week.
Yeah, so we'll talk Benoit. I want to go over why the invasion angle failed, because it's such You could
Well,
print
I think
money
it's pretty
with that.
simple. I don't even
The
think
talent just wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, who came over from WCW at that
You just
time?
had Paige and Booker T, essentially, was it.
Nash stayed home. He had a guaranteed
Nash,
contract.
Hall,
Yeah,
Hogan,
they all stayed home.
Steiner, Goldberg, Flair, all didn't appear till later on that year or next year. And
That's what
Goldberg,
killed that
Sting
angle.
never appeared.
And it would never seem like WCW was actually going to do anything because those guys, and they never let them win, really. They didn't really do anything. So they were just there to job, and it was just kind of seemed at the time like this is just Vince McMahon sticking it again to WCW.
And you know what also they did? They made, so they had, the factions. They had the Alliance, and then they had Team WWF. And the Alliance would have members like Stone Cold in it. Yeah. It's like, why is Stone Cold like the face of WWF? Why is he like with WCW? They fired him. Yeah. He hates them. Why is he do? It was just horribly booked. A lot of injuries too. Benoit was injured. Triple H tore his quad. So it was just an unfortunate event that happened. And
it could have been great. It really could have worked so well.
Still been happening right now.
Yeah, it really could. It's just one of those things, Unfortunately, it was just poor booking at the time.
Yeah.
If they would have pushed it to about a year later,
which they could have held off. They could have, had WCW just on Saturday night or whatever, and then once those contracts started coming up, WrestleMania 18 could have been a blow off.
Even still, at that point we were kind of getting to the point of like, all right, we know this isn't predetermined, that we know that this isn't angled. You get all that. They could have had these guys jobbing and having the WCW guys all jobbing. Yeah. To the WWF guys, and then like 9 months in, they're like, "This isn't fair." We were tops in our where we were in WCW, and then they start reaching out to those guys. They reach out to Nash, they reach out to Hall, they reach out to Hogan. They say, "Hey guys, look, we know you're not coming in right now because you're getting paid."
You
to
could
sit at
tease
home.
that so well. You could have just a cell phone call at a December pay-per-view, and like, "Who was that?" Yeah. We should go back in time.
See,
and book
this
that.
makes so much sense.
Yeah, and another problem, and we'll get off of Invasion, but they had like Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon as the head of WCW. It's just like, we don't need the McMahons involved in this. Why would Stephanie and Shane...
Well, you know why Shane was involved.
I know why Shane was involved, but it was just ridiculous. And then you had ECW joining them, and ECW was so anti-WCW. Like, they didn't mind WWF, but they hated Eric Bischoff and the whole WCW. And for Paul Heyman to team up with them is just everything... ECW should just been a wild card. They would just appear every once in a while and do something crazy. But, let's talk about the future, though, man. We're out of time?
Yeah.
What?
Hey, man, that's wrestling.
Any last thoughts?
Seth Rollins officially unveiled as the cover superstar for WWE 2K18. Any wishful thinking for you in this game?
I just want it to be more simple. I want, to harken back to the days of WrestleMania 2000 where you didn't have to, know every single button to push and you could still have a fun time. And I think that's been lacking with these games.
All I want,
Shockmaster?
I want to be able to book matches, book the shows.
Yes.
Back, I don't know if you recall, like 10 years ago, in like WWE SmackDown vs. Raw, you were able to like book... you could take control of Raw or SmackDown, and then it was like a ratings war, and you were like fighting the other thing. You had to book the matches.
And I think that would be perfect for now with the brand
That's all
split.
I want. Yep, that's it. Make that, and I'm happy. So stay tuned. 4:30 News Wrap Up is next.
Woo!
I will be here tomorrow night for home stretch, and you, I don't know, you do like a million
I'll be
things,
on Saturday, 12 p.m. for Radio Rumble.
So stay tuned. 4:30 News Wrap Up is next. Bye bye, guys.
Peace.